Right, so this is going to bring me back to the steam puzzle. I swear there's a way into that chipper. There's something in there. Won't even let me grab it right now. I want to examine this, and I can't look at it closer, so I'm guessing that I'm wrong about that. Look down? Everybody look left, everybody look right. I cannot remember the puzzle for this. It's not here. Look at this again. Or does it jam and explode? I don't remember. Should I take the time to try and remember, or try and read the book, just in case there's a hint in there. Let's pick this thing up again. I don't remember how I bash this in. Somehow this stops. And I swear we can go out there. Here's the frame dropping frog again. That one goes off in a different direction now. Do I have to keep doing this until we get the right direction? Or something else gets in here? Why do I feel like there's something still back here? Well, the only thing left to do is just go back to the first island and try and figure that one out. I don't need to get back in there, though. Can I just do this now? I don't think I want to do anything with that. Well, I can't really go in anywhere that the frogs jump out of. Yeah, the one jumped out this way, but I can't climb out there. And the one that jumped off that way, I can only look around. Can't look to my right, it just twists me around a bit. There's something... Somehow I can shut that off. I just don't remember how. Oh, yeah. Pathways behind the door. Oh, oh, oh. Yeah. Before we go into that, because I believe that is Gen's house. Oh, is that how I get in? Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's how I get into his house. So, before that, let's make sure I didn't leave anything out here. And then that goes that way. Yeah, so I can't get in there. Alright. We'll go back into his house. And here we are. I will... that is a gun. Yeah, that is a very, very obscure... That is a pipe. Very obscure... Excuse me. Very obscure way to get out of there. Last week, while monitoring the situation of the villagers from the scope in my survey room, I observed one of the natives swim out to a small object that appeared to be floating, but anchored near the entrance to the bay. I ordered the object removed from the water for inspection. Several days later, however, I was surprised to see another floating there. The missing object had apparently, and quite mysteriously, been replaced with a new one overnight. I've long been aware of the existence of similar artifacts on the villagers' island, but have paid them little notice until now. Tomorrow I shall send surveyors to catalog the others. Yeah, so that's important to write down. He himself has numero uno. Which I guess I'll just write down as on Gen's island. Gen's house. But he said he got it from somewhere else. So I don't know if that is going to count or not. Alright. Let us... Oh boy. The latest ink formulation has proven a failure. Even when writing in my most promising books, I obtain only the barest glimmer of a connection. It is frustrating to expend so much effort creating a blank book only to end up destroying it when it doesn't work. There are days when the lab is uncomfortably warm from the flames of these failed attempts. The further I refine each element, the formulations of the inks and paper, the physical dimensions of the books, the more I realize that the list of potential combinations is near infinite. It is during moments like these that I despair. Without access to Dunny, my long-term goals may never be accomplished. Nevertheless, there are avenues of research which remain to be explored. Oh boy. So we're going through his journal right now, I guess. I am discontinuing regular observations of the stars beneath the fissure. Although I have been able to track the dark cloud-like formations that migrate through the star field and have proven that their paths are cyclical, without proper instrumentation it is pointless to continue. My general theory concerning the nature of the fissure has remained unaltered since it first appeared. It seems that the fabric of this age has been breached in a way that permits matter to be hospitably exchanged between two discrete but overlapping spaces, much like a link, but the apparent physical contradictions surrounding the juncture defy logical reason. great column of wind that is formed when the fissure first appeared suggests a vacuum as one might expect in space, yet my early experimentations revealed the presence of a breathable atmosphere. The Atris and Catherine threw themselves into the void as further evidence that it might be safe to travel, but without knowing its true nature I cannot take the risk myself. It is also difficult to say what would happen if I were to reopen it after so long, but it is likely the results would be catastrophic given the changes that have occurred in this age since that time. Maintenance in the steam vent caps completed, and I am extremely pleased with the continued success of the system. I believe the construction to have been true to the Dunny designs of my memory, another example of the superiority of the Dunny technology. It's ironic that Atris and Catherine unwittingly provided me with such a convenient source of power. As with many of my views over the years, my thoughts regarding the origin of the fissure have changed. I have recently begun to wonder whether it was actually an unexpected byproduct of the changes Catherine and Atris wrote into the age during their escape. Certainly, by casting their linking book into the void, they trapped me here quite effectively. But I do not believe that Atris intended the book to be lost in this manner. Much better to destroy it than risk the possibility of its falling into unknown hands. Also, had they foreseen the creation of the fissure, they would have surely thought the vacuum it created would eventually consume the atmosphere of this planet, a fate which Catherine undoubtedly would have deemed unacceptable for her home world. If I had not been there to supervise the construction of the seal, this most certainly would have happened, for the villagers were far too frightened to even approach the vortex without my urging. I hold on to the belief that it was an unintended consequence of their writing for another reason as well. I prefer to think that my son had meant for this age to be merely a prison for me rather than a death sentence. The construction of the imagers has proceeded without fault. It is interesting to see how easily I've been able to adapt the Dunny technology to mimic that of Ahmad. In some ways, the similarities between the two cultures was striking. I wonder if perhaps there had been communication or commerce between the two cultures in earlier times. Maybe Keta's people were even descendants of the Dunny. It pleases me to think so. Note, it's possible if I were somehow able to supply the books with a power source of sufficient magnitude, I could suppress the variance enough to facilitate a solid link. It's doubtful that the geothermal cap generators could provide such an enormous surge. Perhaps I could adapt the fire marbles. I've been cataloging the natural elements of this age for nearly 30 years now, yet still I continue to find evidence of the Dunny's preoccupation with 5. As a boy, it was very clear to me that the number 5 had a special significance to the Dunny society. From the ancient heraldic emblems of the ruling elite to the humble homes of the commoners, it was ubiquitous. Its presence here is obviously a direct reflection of the minds that designed the texts that I used to compose this age. Further proof that through their art, the Dunny masters were indeed creating the marvelous worlds they wrote, and not, so many as many have mistakenly thought, merely building links to pre-existing worlds. Okay, well there you go. While most of my constructions here have been based on Dunny designs, I see now that the ones that I have imbued with the power of 5 are clearly the most beautiful, the most perfect, and, I believe, the most structurally sound. I am still attempting to determine how the Dunny color symbology reflects their superior designs principle. Although superficially it is based on a 6 color system, I am convinced that there has to be deeper connection to 5. I will continue to investigate. I guess I better write those down. So that symbol, first symbol, was yellow when I opened the thing. It's possible some of those are turned on their side. I have finally made a breakthrough. I have succeeded in modifying the 5 marbles to generate enough power to hold a descriptive linking book in a stable matrix. I have linked to a new world. It is a harsh and desolate age, but is nonetheless well suited for my purposes, so I have designated it my 90, I mean, why is that an erd? It should be 98. 98th and age? Am I reading that wrong? Because that's 3 plus 5 is... Well, anyway. By studying it closely, I believe I will eventually be able to create a more approximate age for us to resettle on. Appropriate age for us to resettle on. For now, I will build an office and set up my living quarters there in order that I may conduct my experiments in safety and without distraction. I must admit I am proud of my work. To think that in such primitive conditions I have accomplished in 29 years what it took the original Dunny centuries to achieve. Note, repair the outerwear for work on this world. The goggles may need to be redesigned altogether. I have begun construction of a series of link sites for each island that will connect Riven with my new office on whatever this is. The Survey Guild has finally completed the site location for each island according to my exact specifications, and installation of the domes is underway at last. Work on the central power source got off to a bit of a bad start, I'm afraid, but the pace has picked up considerably since then, and I anticipate no further delays. I'm looking forward to finally having a civilized mode of transportation. I think I need to write this down as well, that diagram. I may be wrong about that, but I think this comes into play later because that middle map has a grid to do something about it. Due to the rebels' continued disturbances, I've decided to install a coded access system into all of the domes. It is that. Now that one is complicated. So, let's try and decipher this. If that is 1 and a 5... Oh, wait a minute, though. It's... Well, it's 1, but... So it'd be 6, then. And then the other one is 2 times 5. Well, no. I'm trying to... The two numerals, so this other one is 10. And then it's 10 plus 1, so it'd be 11. And then that other one is going to be 2. And then 3 times 5, 15, so 17. And then you've got 3. And 3 times 5, so 18. Okay, I think those are right. They may not be. But I wrote the symbols down anyway, so I can decipher them later. I caught one of my assistants looking over this journal today. I'm glad I've chosen to write it in a language they cannot decipher. Note, discuss security with each guild master. No problems expected from the maintenance educators and surveyors, maintainers, excuse me. Question the bookmakers and builders. Okay. I don't know that that's necessary to write those down. Maybe. I will anyway. Maintainers, educators, surveyors, bookmakers, and the builders. So we now have a code so that I can actually use this in the dome that we have... Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. That we've already unlocked. So I have a way out now. Today I heard several more reports of spirit sightings by some of the villagers. It seems that under Catherine's leadership, the rebels on the Black Moiety? What? What does that say? Black Moiety? as the villagers obstinately insist on referring to them, have attained a new level of sophistication in their terror tactics and have renewed their campaign to intimidate the villagers into joining them, playing upon the shared superstitions. The villagers are certainly susceptible to this form of coercion, especially given of late the rebels' increasing acts of vandalism and theft. The Y-tram? I don't know, what does that say? Sometimes it looks like a Y to me. The Y-tram traps have been steadily fruitful this year. Apparently the breakup of the islands has not adversely affected the subterranean ecosystems. Unfortunately, I imagine the rebels are experiencing a similarly generous harvest. No shortage of poison for their darts this season. Such morbid issues aside, the sudden availability has allowed me to refine a particularly pleasant extract for my pipe, one that is smoother than any of the others from recent years. Chemical analysis of one of the rebel knives has yielded curious results. Its composition contains elements that are unlike anything I've encountered on the islands. It appears they have access to a resource of which I am unaware. Perhaps mine on an uncharted island. Perhaps a mine. There you go. Most of the knives have been found on the southern side of the island, or the village. This is the same area in which there have been reports of people mysteriously disappearing. I think a closer inspection of the area is warranted. Okay, the fact that they leave these distinctive knives as a sign of their presence concerns me. They're growing more bold, and seem to no longer fear discovery of their hideout. The latest measurements indicate that the recent trend has continued. The movement of the islands has slowed tremendously. My previous estimates predicted a total collapse in approximately 3 months, but with the new figures I am uncertain. I have nearly finished writing the, I swear that's 99th age, and I have every faith that it will indeed be a safe place for us to relocate to. Yet it would be helpful to know what has caused the halt in this age's breakup. Is it possible that it's stable after all? If so, I must discover how this age differs from my less successful attempts. My examinations of the 98th end. That's got to be what that is, though. Ki is 3, and then you add the 5, so that's 8. So why is it end? It just makes me think I've got this wrong. The age have thus far proven inconclusive. Okay. Or perhaps someone is repairing the damage to the 5th age. If so, it would almost certainly be Atris's doing. It is. That's what he was working on before he sent us through here. I have reluctantly decided to abandon my experiments into the behavior of the water of this age, as there are more pressing matters on which I must now concentrate, leaving me little time for such speculative research. For future reference, however, my investigations up to this point have revealed the following. I believe the remarkable properties of the waters to be caused by a life form that resides in it, specifically a type of bacteria. I am imagining a motile unicellular organism, but one with structures capable of holding bits of water, whose combined effect, via surface tension or a stronger force, causes the composite body of water to move in response to heat. Prolonged exposure to extreme heat, for example a period of extended boiling, seems to kill the bacteria, which would explain its dramatic aversion to heat sources. Unfortunately, these theories are still not fully tested, and I remain ignorant of both its deeper nature and possible uses. Phase 25? Maybe. Okay, so this might explain why there are bubbles in that lake. Does that have impact? No, because that's a completely different island. When we use the minecart to travel to the boiler, that's on a completely different island. An exciting development. Last night, a squad of maintainers stumbled upon a lone rebel scout and obtained from him a most incredible device. It is a crystal that somehow powers these flawed linking books, much as my own system does, but with an obvious advantage. It is small and weighs only a few pounds, making it completely portable. Catherine must have fabricated the device before I captured her. Obviously, with an explicit dunny schematic she must have brought with her to this age. If only I'd had access to such a document all these years. Regardless, I can now concentrate solely on the writing of ages, and need no longer worry about building elaborate power supplies for each new book I write. This is a sobering reminder, however, that I must continue to seek an avenue to Dunny. Regaining access to the resources there may be crucial to the completion of my mission. Right, so this is where the remake of the first game added in the crystals from that one age, the Rime Age, to kind of explain how Catherine got hold of that. Okay. So I still haven't read the original journal that we got from Atris. Can't pick any of that up or do anything with it. There you go. Oh, wait a minute. Is that a button? Open that again. It's not a button. Alright. That tells me nothing. These are bullets. Or slugs, or whatever, I think. That go to his gun. It's on the table back there. Which is something we will have to deal with at some point. Any old iron? Any old iron? That's just a vice. I think it's just for fun. I don't know that I actually put anything in there. Paper. This must be just ink experimentation thing. B. There. Symbol in the wood. Ink blotter. Okay. Get around to the correct side, please. First of all, let's open the door, unlock it, anyhow. And then I guess... So this is... Right, we're back at the front door. Okay. There is a back door. First of all... Find one of his old books. But we can't do anything with it. We need to find... Oh, no. Actually, I don't think we can do anything with this particular book. I think it just opens up to show you that it's one of his old linking books. Ones with the crystals, I think, are in the domes. Okay, so we looked at that table. God, would you not do this just yet? Okay. Then, now we can pop out the back here. And this is the way to another island, which we have to call from within his chamber. Before we do that, we're going to go back up to there and travel. Does that lead to the big dome? That pathway we haven't gone to just yet? Oh my god, would you close? I just want to look around, make sure I'm not missing a button or something stupid. Yeah, no. And then, I gotta go back to the room with the door so that I can go downstairs. Find out what I'm missing that way. Yeah. This leads to the dome. And we gotta get some power out here or something because... Oh, wait. You gotta do something with that. So that we can lower this